Bonjour and welcome back to a new session of Learning French with Merlyn. I promise you pronunciation, vocabulary building, and trust me, you will have fun. The way we are learning is the way I have been taught in France. So it's going to be very methodical, and please do follow my sessions. I assure you that you will have very strong fundamentals in French and you will be able to speak French very fluently. Let's begin our session. This session is like a prerequisite for conversation. So a lot of you might be wondering why we haven't started with conversations yet, right? That's because you need to know a few things before you enter into conversations, a few basics. And one of the basics is subject pronouns. The name sounds complicated. What is a pronoun? Anything that can replace a noun. What is a noun? Noun is a name, place, animal, thing. All these are nouns, okay? For example, I can say Alice wakes up at 8:30. Alice goes to school. Alice does her homework. Alice gets back home and plays. Alice eats her food. Doesn't it get annoying after some time? You just want me to stop saying Alice, Alice, Alice all the time, right? So that's why we have subject pronouns. You can replace a noun with a pronoun. For example, Alice gets up at 8 o'clock. She goes to school. She does her homework. She comes back home. She goes to play. After eating, she goes to bed. So now it sounds much less complicated. It sounds neater. And that is the purpose of a subject pronoun. Let's look at a few subject pronouns in English first. He is sleeping. She is eating. They are dancing. So what are the subject pronouns here? Who are the people doing the action? He, she, they. Now all this also exists in French. So in this class, we will be looking at subject pronouns, or as we say in French, pronoms sujet or pronoms personnels. Let's look at all of them first. You would have seen a few of them here and there, okay? Let's look at it. Je, tu, il, elle, on. Nous, vous, il, elle. Now let's go one by one. Je is I. Tu. Tu is you. Il, elle, on. Now I've written them in the same line, you can see. When we start conjugating verbs, then you will understand why we do this. Il is he. Elle is she. And on is an informal way of saying us. So then you will ask me, is there a formal way of saying us? Look at the next one. Nous. Nous is the formal way of saying us. On is usually used in a conversation while talking, when it's a dialogue. Okay, when you say, we are going to the restaurant, then you can say on. You can use on. In writing, when you're writing a letter or you're writing an essay or something, you will not use on. You will say nous. So even in an essay, when you're saying, we are going to the party, it will be nous, not on. On is the informal way, and it's used much more frequently in a conversation when you're talking than in written. Okay, so in writing you will have nous. Next one is vous. Now I keep telling you that French is like Hindi, right? We will look at that a little more in detail now. In Hindi you have tu and aap, right? Tu refers to you. Aap can be used for two things. One is to refer to a group of people, okay, like all of you. And the second way of using aap is to address someone with respect. Now in French it's the same. So tu is like tu in Hindi. You can't miss it out. It sounds similar. Tu means you, and it is used to address a friend or someone you know, or maybe your parents or someone like that. Vous is a group of people. So when you're saying all of you, that is vous. Another way is if you're addressing a boss or your principal, then you will say vous. It means you, but with respect. So it's like aap in Hindi. So this is clear to you. There is tu, there is vous. Now both of them mean you, but the way you're using them is very different. Il means they. So what is L? L also means they. What is the difference then? Something else in this list looks like il. Right, perfect. Something that's on top. Il looks like il. Now I'm not saying il looks like ils, okay, because the last letter is not pronounced. Both of them are pronounced the same way. So il in plural means they, and you're referring to a group of men or a mixed crowd, men and women. Elle, plural, is they, but it refers only to a group of women. So if there are 99 women and there's one man in the group, it'll be ILS. Okay? It will not be L. It doesn't depend on majority. It depends on if there's a man in the group or not. If there's a man in the group, and even if that's a small baby, then it'll be il. These are subject pronouns. Let's look at a few examples of sentences that we have with subject pronouns. So right now, don't look at the entire sentence and try to analyze the entire sentence. That's not going to work. Let's try to look at only the subject pronoun. So the first sentence, je t'aime. We had looked at this earlier. Je t'aime means I like you. Okay? What is the subject pronoun here? Perfect. Je. Next one. Je parle à Marc. That means I speak to Mark. What is the subject pronoun here? Because there is I, there is also another person. I'm talking to someone else. Right. So when I am doing the action, I am the subject. The person that the action is done to is called the object in English, and in French, objet. So you have subject, which is sujet, and you have object, which is objet. That is how you have I am doing the action. In this sentence, I am doing the action. I am talking to Mark, right? So it will be je. Je is the subject pronoun. Alice joue. What is the subject here? Alice. Now I can replace it with elle. Elle, because she is a girl, and I can say she plays. Next one, Alice et Clara jouent. Alice is a girl and Clara is a girl. Now both of them are playing. Alice et Clara jouent. I can replace Alice et Clara with they, right? And in this case, both of them are girls, so I will say elles jouent. What about if it's Marc and Alice jouent? Marc is a boy. Alice is a girl. So if it's a mixed crowd, you will still use il. Il joue. Let's add a few more people. Okay? Alice, Clara et Marc jouent. Now you see there are two girls, there is one boy. So will you say il joue or will you say elle joue? You will say il joue, because there is a mixed crowd. There is one boy in the crowd, which is why you will still say il. We saw quel âge as-tu? Tu is you. So if I want to say this with respect, don't look at the rest of the sentence. It will be quel âge avez-vous? That will be with respect. I'm asking the same person, but with respect will be quel âge avez-vous? Without respect, normal, informal way of addressing someone will be quel âge as-tu? And the answer is j'ai, whatever your age is, en. Now you understood how we use subject pronouns and how they are going to be in fact very commonly used in conversations. So before we begin conversations, it is actually a must. You should know subject pronouns. Alright, that's it for today. And in our next video, we'll be looking at disjunctive pronouns. So this is also very important. Do not miss the next session. I'll catch you there. Au revoir.